Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user Kisked. Am I the a-hole for telling my best friend I don't want to hear about her crappy boyfriend anymore? Hi Reddit, I am feeling really bad about this and need advice. I, female 23, have been friends with my best friend forever, Kayla, since we were 11. She is awesome and has supported me through some really tough times, and I have been there for her through a lot of crap too. We have never fallen out and we always support each other. Until now, Kayla has been with her boyfriend James for just over 2 years now. I liked him at first, he was good for her, he made her happy, so I was happy. But for the last year or so, every time I have seen or chatted to Kayla, all she has done is complain about him. Some of the stuff she has told me about him is super gross and I have lost all respect for him, and in turn I have started losing respect for her. She has also changed a lot since being with him. She used to want to travel the world, explore and experience new things. Now, she never leaves her house and wants to be a stay-at-home mother by the time she's 25. It makes me sad to see she has lost her sparkle. It all came to a head when we went for dinner for my birthday. She spent the whole night complaining about James, as always, telling me way too much personal stuff about him, as always, and just generally moaning. It was after we had finished our meal when I finally snapped and said I don't want to hear any more about her crappy boyfriend because everything I advise her to do, she just ignores and I have nothing left to say to her. I told her she should dump him if she hates him so much, and if she isn't going to dump him, then to quit bitching about him all the time because I didn't want to hear it anymore. I had quite a few glasses of wine and was just feeling super bummed because she made my whole birthday dinner about her and her stupid boyfriend. This was 5 days ago and she hasn't spoken to me since. I messaged her the next morning apologizing and asked her if we could meet up to talk about it, but she hasn't responded. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Well, OP, I don't think you're the a-hole for what you said. Maybe you are the a-hole for how you said it. I definitely understand the frustration of somebody complaining about the same thing over and over again, and every time you give them ideas or suggestions of what they could do to improve their situation, they're just ignored. And yeah, you're right, one has just so much energy and at some point you just get fed up. Personally, my tank for that kind of thing is pretty shallow. I'm like 2 or 3 times that somebody complains about the same thing and then I'm just done listening. And I know it sounds rude or that I'm not empathetic, but the question I make is, do you want to change? Do you want to improve your life? Or are you just comfortable complaining about the same thing every day? Because if it's the latter, then I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna give you my shoulder for that. Now, if you wanna make a change, you can count on me to be there with you every step of the way to help you get things done. So again, OP, no, I don't think you're the a-hole for what you said, but maybe you should apologize for the way you said it. And what do you guys think? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. So Much More Eagle says, not the a-hole. The wine probably made you more harsh than you otherwise would have been, but it sounded like what you said was fair, especially because it was your birthday dinner and she made it all about her. Kasperian says, I mean, you took the nuclear option and drunkenly exploded on her rather than having a civil conversation about how the constant complaining was impacting you and your friendship. Of course she's hurt and pissed off. Not to say she's free and clear of taking over your birthday, but she may honestly have no idea how much she complains or how draining it can be for others. The fact that you have lost respect for her means maybe it's time for the friendship to end. If you don't like her and you don't like being around her, what's the point of the relationship? Don't expect her to forgive you for handling the situation like you did instead of like a real friend would though. Alcohol ultimately didn't make you do this. And OP responds, alcohol didn't make me do this. I did it because I didn't communicate sooner and I had a lot of pent-up anger. I shouldn't have spoken to her like that and I'm going to apologize. And Kahoot Music 23 says, not the a-hole. Talking about yourself or your life non-stop is rude and inconsiderate, and complaining non-stop while refusing to make any changes or take any advice is also rude. Combining them together can make a conversation totally miserable. To do it at your birthday dinner is even worse. I understand why you would get sick of it after hearing the same things over and over without Kayla listening to your advice. Also, if you're close enough that she can tell you personal and gross things, you're close enough to tell her your true feelings. I understand that maybe she needed some time to cool down if it was really that much of a confrontation, but she needs to be considerate about how she's been making you feel. Friendship is a two-way street. Additional information from OP's comments. I haven't ever told her that I'm tired of her not taking my advice, and I have never asked her to not complain about him. This was the first time I had challenged her. I have always been very patient with her and let her complain as much as she wants. This has left me feeling emotionally drained after every time I see her. I should have set boundaries in a calm and mature manner when I was sober. I was just so annoyed that she made my entire birthday meal about her relationship issues. I had also just found out that I had got my dream job and wanted her to be happy about me. I took out my frustration on her and I spoke to her poorly. I'd like to add that all our mutual friends have dropped her because they can't deal with her complaining. They're all telling me to unfriend her, but I'm not ready to do that. Also, about their relationship, it isn't abusive. If anything, she's not very nice to him. She doesn't like the guy. I don't know why she stays with him. She struggles with her mental health and he is very lazy. So he encourages her to stay in bed all day. He isn't what she needs, but he isn't abusive. OP's edit. Thank you all for your comments. I can see you're all very divided about if I'm the a-hole or not, and I get why. I have accepted that I am the a-hole for going nuclear when drunk, and I know I should have spoken to her in a mature and calm manner way earlier than I did. She shouldn't have ruined my birthday dinner, but she is struggling and didn't deserve to be spoken to like that. I have decided to write a letter apologizing for the way I spoke to her. I am going to write very nicely that I still stand by what I said and that I love her, but hearing her complain repeatedly about the same issue without taking advice is very draining. I'm going to tell her I want to still be friends and that I don't want this to ruin our friendship. I will also recommend she goes back to therapy. She had a therapist in high school but ghosted her. If she then reads my letter and decides to end the friendship, then that is up to her. I will be sad, but everything happens for a reason, right? Alright, so the community was in between not the a-hole and you're the a-hole for how she handled it, and Dopey accepted that she was an a-hole for how she handled it. And she has a next step regarding what to do. So how about we move on to the update to see how this story ends. Hi guys, my post got quite a lot of traction, so I thought I would update you all. Firstly, thank you so much for everyone who commented and messaged me, nice or not. It was great to get everyone's opinion. So, I wrote Kyla a letter like I said I was going to in my edit. It felt very formal and weird to do, but for some reason doing it over text felt wrong. I wanted her to know I am sincere. I said that I love her and I value our friendship extensively and apologized for the way I spoke to her. I said alcohol wasn't to blame. I was. I spoke to her like an a-hole and she didn't deserve it. I wrote that I have felt frustrated about the situation for a long time now. I said I was upset seeing her so frustrated and upset all the time with the person who is supposed to cherish and respect her the most. I told her that I wholeheartedly believe that she should end the relationship. I said I knew this wasn't my place to say, that she didn't need to take my advice and that I would support her in whatever decision she made. But if she decided to stay with him, I need her to stop complaining to me about James and their relationship because it was too draining for me to hear it. I said of course she could talk to me about anything major, but hearing the same complaints on an almost daily basis was exhausting, especially when she wouldn't take or even listen to any advice. I made sure to tell her I loved her and I apologized again. I actually apologized 4 times in the letter. I put it through her front door the day after I posted on here. She called me yesterday and asked to meet. I went round to her place last night and we talked for just over 2 hours. She told me she actually broke up with James the day after my birthday. Apparently, me snapping at her about it shocked her into realizing how often she was upset by him and how much she complained. She has spent the last few days processing everything, so that's why I hadn't heard from her, which is so valid. She actually thanked me for doing it, which is crazy. She said, although I was a bit of an a-hole, it was what she needed to hear. We both cried a lot and hugged it out and then watched 90 Day Fiancé, lol. I think it's safe to say we will be okay. She is obviously struggling because she is grieving their relationship and breakups are awful, but I will support her through this, like I always do, because I know that she will support me when I next get my heart broken. I am single as F right now, but who knows what the future holds. So, me snapping at my best friend at my birthday dinner for complaining about her boyfriend for the whole meal caused her to dump him. I didn't lose the friendship, I actually got my best friend back. I can't wait to support her while she finds herself again. Thank you all again. Have a great day, everyone. Tiny smiley face. Well, OP, in my opinion, this is a great update. On your side, accountability and properly setting boundaries. On her side, realization and understanding that she needed to make a change and she took action. So yeah, again, I think it's a great update. And here's wishing the both of you the best in the future. Thanks so much for sharing, OP, and take care. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user SealInfluence2559. Am I the a-hole for suggesting a threesome to my date who brought a friend along and expected me to pay? I've been talking to Denise for a couple of weeks and our schedules finally aligned last weekend. I said we should get food and see where it goes. She didn't want me to pick her up, so we arranged to meet up. I got there early and had a beer while I waited. When she showed up, she had a friend along. I thought maybe that was her ride or she wanted someone to meet me in case things got sketchy. Nope, the girl sat with us at the restaurant. She ordered drinks and a meal. She was cool and I enjoyed talking to her almost as much as with Denise. When the bill came, the waitress asked how we were paying. I asked for a couple of seconds. The waitress left and I asked Denise what was going on. She said that her friend was along to make sure I was a good guy and that I should be paying for her too. I said that I had only asked her out and not the friend and that I would not be paying for her. Denise said that I should be trying to impress her and I was failing. I saw what was going on and decided to bounce. I said that I would pay for supper if a threesome was on the table. Denise and her friend got offended and said that I was a pig. When the waitress came back, I paid for my meal and drinks. I also made sure to give her a cash tip and explained that it was a tip and not to be applied to the rest of the bill. Then I got up and left. Denise texted and called me dozens of times to insult me and call me cheap. I may have been vulgar, but I don't think I was in the wrong. Am I the a-hole? Well, OP, no, I don't think you're the a-hole. I agree that what you said was vulgar and maybe a very bad joke, as I'm gonna assume it was a joke. But come on, you don't do that on a date, Denise. You should be trying to impress me and you're failing? Get the F off your high horse. You've been watching too many sprinkle TikTok videos or whatever the F that is. What do you think, there's some sort of championship prize or something? No. OP, I don't think you're the a-hole for just paying your part and leaving. Denise's entitled behavior was just a huge red flag. And maybe your joke was vulgar, but in the end, I think you dodged a huge bullet. And I think Denise is lighting herself up for a very rude awakening. But anyways, what do you guys think about OP's situation? What is your judgment? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out those community comments. It's funny how she says you have to pay for her friend so she feels safe, and it's also funny how she says you need to impress her and failed. At the same time, she's not concerned at all what kind of an impression she leaves and how she also needs to respect you to be taken seriously. Not the a-hole, you did really well. The Ghost Reborn says, there are a lot of ways you can handle the situation where your date brings a surprise friend. And the only really wrong one is paying the bill. I think if the woman I'm dating respected me, she wouldn't pull that crap with me in the first place, and I don't want to sit and eat with two women who think I'm a joke. As soon as I worked out that it was going to be a table for three, I would have made my exit. Not interested in being treated like a fool, even if I get the last laugh at the end. And Opie responds, I don't have a lot of experience. And No Lavishness 3206 says, not the a-hole. I'm not one for hookups since I'm old and ugly, but if I was, getting together seems to be when you hook up. If she brought another girl along for you to pay for, it wasn't unreasonable, but you weren't doing it as a real suggestion. You were doing it to F with them. And Opie responds, yeah, it wasn't a real suggestion. I would not know how to handle two women at once. I am not that guy. So the community agrees that OP was not the a-hole, and he cleared up that it wasn't a serious suggestion. Now, considering this isn't the typical story where one would expect an update, we do have one, so let's move on with that to see what happened. So, I ran into Denise's friend while I was out with my dog about a week ago. I prepared myself for a verbal assault after our last encounter. Instead, she apologized. She said that it had been Denise's idea for her to come along, and she had been surprised when Denise expected me to pay the full bill. She said that she had thought I was a toxic a-hole for suggesting a threesome, but that she had seen the story on TikTok and recognized that it was my point of view. She tracked down the post on Reddit and the comments stung. But they had been fair. She said that she had enjoyed talking to me and offered to take me out for supper, her treat, to make up for the last time. I declined, but I offered to let her buy me a coffee at the dog-friendly cafe by the park. We had a really great time, and she is the sort of person I was looking for when I had asked out Denise. I got her information and we have been talking for a week now. We are going out to see Twisters on Friday. My treat. So something good came out of it. Thanks all and wish me luck. Well, OP, I think this is like a happy update. I mean, I guess we'll know after you've gone to the movies. Hopefully your new friend doesn't bring Denise along. So here's wishing that you guys have a great time at the cinema. Take care, OP, and thank you for sharing. Now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user MD Lapla. CEO wants return to office. CTO plays it perfect. I work for a Spanish company. It's been like 7 to 8 years and we know each other pretty well. I've known and worked with the CTO for like 10 years now. He's a cool guy that wants stuff done. Even before 2020, the work from home policy was extremely relaxed. You do you and have things done by the time we need it, we're okay. So when the pandemic came, the transition was as easy as it could get. In fact, as a company, and especially on the tech team, we embraced the opportunity and started hiring people from outside the city for a cheaper salary than in the city, but for the people, a higher salary than the one they could get without moving into the city. I even moved out of the city during that time. Anyway, since the CTO didn't want to be a sales guy, the company hired a CEO in 2021, an Englishman that came highly recommended and was stationed in his rural house in the English countryside. He looked like a cool, relaxed guy for a while. Once the pandemic ended, he started pushing rather heavily for a return to office for everyone. He made polls, lengthy emails to everyone about how this fostered relationships and whatnot. He got really pushy, even complaining to the CTO about it. So every time he came to Spain, people that lived around the city would go to the office just to be there so the CEO was happy. And then one time, the CTO decided that he had enough about the whole RTO mandate and the CEO complaining. So on a random meeting of the tech team, the CTO said, okay, next Tuesday, I want everyone on the office. If you live far away, book a train, drive, whatever you have to do, I'll pay, but be here. And so we did. That Tuesday, every single one of the tech team, including people that took a 2 or 3 hour trip to get there, was in the office. Guess who wasn't there? Yeah, the CEO. So the CTO took a picture, emailed it to the CEO saying something along the lines of, "If you can't lead by example, don't push my people to do things that don't work." And we went to have a relaxing lunch and beers type of day. The aftermath. The return to office mandate never came to fruition. The CEO was out of the company a year later. We closed the office since everyone works 100% of the time from home. And, to his dismay, the CTO is now CTO and acting CEO, and things are going smoothly. Wow, OP, all I've got to say is that your CTO is not a boss. He is a leader. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.